Hey guys, Zach here at Morimoto Lighting, and I've got some exciting news for 2009 to 2014 Ford F-150 owners, including 2010 to 2014 Raptors. The chefs here at Morimoto have been cooking up a lot of new products for you guys. Today, we're going to talk about them. First up, we've got the Morimoto XB Evo Headlights for your trucks. These aren't just a simple redesign from the previous generation. This is a whole new headlight design that's going to be the embodiment of what we're about here at Morimoto. Packed with features that demonstrate an attention to detail, you're going to get a high-performing set of headlights that are DOT compliant, ease of install, with other features to talk about as well. We've utilized the same patent-pending lens heating system that you'll find in some of our other Evo models, where the headlight's going to pump warm air onto that lens, so in cold weather, you don't have to worry about things like ice or snow buildup. The lights themselves are going to help to melt that stuff right off the lens, so there's no need to worry about driving in such climates. To activate the lens heating system, you'll simply flash the high beams 4 times, and thanks to a built-in sensor, the lights know not to turn that heater on if you're over 5 degrees Celsius or 41 degrees Fahrenheit in ambient temperature. So there's a fail-safe to make sure they don't turn on when they don't need to be on. Speaking of high beams, the XB Evos have 2 1-bangers in each headlight as an auxiliary off-road only high beam for an extra punch. So what you're looking at is not only the high beam out of the bi-LED projector, but also the high beam out of the 1-banger light pods from our off-road lighting category. If you want that extra punch from the 1-banger pod lights, you're going to need to hook up the little additional plug-in to make those illuminate. Out of the box, the pod lights will not be on because it is not a DOT compliant feature and it's for off-road use only. You're also going to find that we've included the signal swap system into these lights. What that means is, by the assortment of keys you see up there, you're able to personalize the output of the DRL or daytime running light as well as the turn signal. You can do a full-time white or amber daytime running light, and you can even toggle between solid or sequential turn signals. Both of these are going to have super high intensity, and thanks to the TIR optics, you're going to be able to see that maximum output regardless of the viewing angle. Another feature, and one of my favorites, is the startup sequence. When starting your F-150, the lights are going to go through a multi-stage sequence, illuminating different parts of the light to give you those style points at startup, and then they simply turn back off before you turn the headlights on. Now, the Evo lights are not cheap, but you're not going to find another headlight packed with more features, DOT compliance, and the intensity as you are with these. Next up, we've got the hybrid models. You're still going to be getting a feature-packed, high-performing set of headlights. It's just going to be a little less expensive than the full premium versions, with no sacrifice to DOT compliance, ease of install, and that performance. With the hybrids, you're going to get the same exact bi-LED projector powered by the same Nichia chips from Japan for the latest and greatest automotive LEDs out there, so the output from those projectors will be identical between the two. Something you may have noticed in the hybrids is that they do not have those 1-banger light pods that we talked about in the full premium version, so you don't quite have that extra punch for the high beam. When it comes to that lens heating system, that's a feature you're only going to get in the full XB Evo models when compared to the hybrids. With the hybrid models, the DRL is going to have the white mode only. The turn signal optics are an extruded rail reflector plus a refractive light wall, and you're going to have a slick yet elegant fade off to the amber that's a really cool touch. You may also notice a slight appearance difference. The XB Evos have a little bit of silver accenting where the hybrids just simply have black. Last up today, we've got something that actually is for both of these headlights as an optional upgrade, the Supercharged drivers. Out of the box, these headlights operate at about 50% of their maximum output so that they comply with DOT's guidelines. If compliance isn't a concern and you want more output, these Supercharged drivers are for you. A simple plug-and-play install by swapping the original drivers with these, and you're talking about a 30 to 50% increase in output for both low and high beam. So if you're off-roading, don't care about the compliance, these drivers are a great choice to really know you're maximizing the output for the brightest set of headlights possible for your F-150. Another feature you're going to add specific to the hybrid models when compared to the XB Evos is the Supercharged drivers are going to unlock that cool startup sequence that we talked about earlier. So if you've got the hybrids and you add the Supercharged drivers, you're going to get that increased output, but you're also going to get the style points by adding that startup sequence. These Supercharged drivers can be reverted at any time. You can go back to the original drivers simply by plugging them in and installing them onto the back of the headlight if you ever want to go back to the original way they were. All of these products we've talked about today are backed by an industry-leading 5-year warranty, so you can enjoy some worry-free use on the front of your F-150. And now we're going to show you how to install them. You're going to start by raising the hood of the vehicle. From there, remove the plastic push clip that secures the rubber air dam to the headlight by unscrewing the center portion with a Phillips head screwdriver, then pulling out the main body of the clip. With the clip removed, pull the air dam away from the headlight. Then you're going to remove the 10mm bolt that secures the inner edge of the headlight to the radiator support. From there, remove the two 10mm bolts from the top of the headlight. Using a plastic pry tool, pry the headlight forward from the outermost corner. This will release the clip on the headlight from the body of the truck. We recommend applying a piece of painter's tape to where you will be prying against to prevent any damage to the paint. Now pull the headlight forward, away from the vehicle, rock the headlight forward and disconnect the three connectors from the back of the factory headlight. Once the headlight is unplugged, it can be fully removed from the vehicle and set aside. Repeat these steps on the opposite side of the truck. Remove your new headlight from the box. With the headlight face down, install the included clips onto the studs on the outer edge of the back of the light as shown. As standard, the auxiliary high beam is disabled for DOT compliance with a block-off plug on the connector. To enable the auxiliary high beam for off-road use, install the selector loop as shown. Due to the separate adjuster on the auxiliary high beam pods, that feature is not compliant for on-road use. In the non-hybrid model, with the Morimoto XB mode selector keys, you can decide what style you'd like for the daytime running light and the turn signal. The red key makes the DRL white and the turn signal fade off. The blue key makes the DRL white but the turn signal sequential. The green key makes the DRL amber and the turn signal fade off. The black key makes the DRL amber and the turn signal sequential. Install the mode selector for your preferred mode onto the 3-pin connector on the back of each headlight. Blue will be pre-installed out of the box. This can always be changed after install if desired. Make sure the vehicle and headlights are off when changing that mode selector. If you purchase the Morimoto XB Supercharged headlight drivers, which are sold separately and for off-road use only, remove the 4 Phillips head screws securing the standard headlight driver to the back of the headlight. Pull the driver off of the housing, depress the clip on each side of the driver's connector, and pull to disconnect the driver from the internal headlight wiring. Apply a thin layer of the included grease to the outer edge of the seal on the new driver. Connect the new Supercharged driver to the internal headlight wiring, making sure the tab on each of the connector's clips securely into place. Press the Supercharged driver straight into the mounting location, making sure the rubber seal is seated properly and does not get pinched or bunched up. Secure the driver to the housing using the original 4 Phillips head screws. Hand tighten them down in a star pattern to ensure the driver seats evenly against the housing. Now, open the under hood fuse box located behind the radiator. Locate the 10-amp fuse in fuse slot 77 and remove it. Insert the included fuse tap into the 77 fuse slot and route the fuse tap harness out of the fuse box. Connect the short end of the DRL harness to the fuse tap. Route each of the remaining 2 connectors on the DRL harness across the radiator support to each of the headlight cavities. Make sure to secure any loose and excess wiring. Select the appropriate headlight harness for your truck and connect it to the vehicle's low and high beam connector and turn signal and parking light connector. The side marker connector will not be used, so install the provided block-off plug to keep dirt and water out. Lift the headlight up to the vehicle and connect the DRL harness and headlight input harness to the headlight assembly. With the headlight connected, fit the assembly into the headlight cavity and push it straight onto the vehicle. Loosely reinstall the factory hardware to secure the light to the truck. Repeat these steps on the opposite side of the truck. Now you're going to want to get in the vehicle and confirm that all functions are working properly. On the drivers, there are 3 LEDs on the back of them that indicate when power is being received by the headlight. If any of these indicator lights are not illuminated when the corresponding function should be powered, recheck your connections and relevant fuses. The green light is for the low beam, the blue light is for the high beam, and the red light is for the fuse tap. Go back and tighten down all hardware and reassemble the front of the vehicle in the reverse order of disassembly. The headlights come out of the box aimed for stock ride height. However, it is recommended to fine-tune the aim of your low beam after installation. Using a long number 2 Phillips head screwdriver down the back of the headlight to the adjuster gear, follow the instructions properly to align your headlight's low beam cutoff, which is the upper horizontal edge of the low beam. With a vehicle parked on level ground, about 25 feet from a wall, measure the distance from the ground to the optical center of the outermost projector in the headlight. If the distance from the ground to the optical center is less than 34.5 inches, adjust the top of the headlight cutoff to the same height as the headlight measurement you took. If the height is between 35 inches and 39 inches, adjust the cutoff to 2 inches below your headlight measurement. Factory ride height typically falls in a range approximately 38 inches. If the height is greater than 39.5 inches, adjust the cutoff to 3 inches below your headlight measurement. Remember, aiming should not require more than 3 full turns of the adjuster in either direction. Over-tightening can cause damage to the headlight. If you purchase the XB Evo headlights, your auxiliary high beam 1-banger pods are adjusted independently of your main low beam and high beam projector. Use a long T30 Torx driver to turn the auxiliary beam adjuster. If you don't have a T30 Torx bit adjuster, a 5/32 hex bit or a 3/16 flathead may work instead. Due to the separate adjuster on the auxiliary high beam, this feature is non-compliant for on-road use. With the vehicle parked on level ground, about 25 feet from the wall still, adjust the aim of the auxiliary high beam until it's just above the cutoff of the low beam. If you like anything you've heard today, head on over to morimotolighting.com to get your set now.